Hi folks, I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. Russ Fields is the chairman of the Rowell Ranch Rodeo Board of Directors. Like all rodeos, the Rowell Ranch Rodeo, located in Castro Valley, California, has a history of cruelty, cowardice, and cover-up. In 2008, a shark investigator caught stock contractor Cotton Rosser's son, Reno Rosser, shocking horses to make them buck. Shocking was expressly prohibited in the rodeo's contract with the Hayward Area Recreation and Parks District, or HARD, which owns the property. That posed quite a problem for HARD. How do you deal with a rodeo company that violates its policy against using painful electric shock on animals? The answer in the case of HARD was to withdraw the policy and tell the rodeo animal abusers that it was okay to use electric shock going forward. I kid you not, that's what they did. The Rowell Rodeo also features an event called wild cow milking, a cruel and inane event by and for idiots, which clearly has nothing to do with ranch history. The event is pretty much just what it sounds like, except the cows aren't wild, they're just terrified. Now, think about it. What kind of man wants to chase a lactating female around to force her to give milk? Are these the same guys who pay women to put diapers on them? In 2014, the Mercury News wrote about a terrorized cow who died in this idiotic event. Here's an excerpt. A panicked cow jumped over a fence that's almost 6 feet tall, landed on her head, and broke her neck. She had to be euthanized, said Eric Mills of Action for Animals in Oakland. You ended up with a dead cow and an orphan calf for no good reason. In 2018, a horse was killed. Actually, the horse was just injured, and then, and this is true, the rodeo thugs decided to just kill her. You're thinking, well, it must have been a mortal injury, but actually, rodeo veterinarian Tina Faulkner couldn't seem to figure out exactly what the injuries were. In a report to the State Veterinary Board, Dr. Faulkner decided it was a probable injury to the humerus, or the shoulder, or the back. Of course, that's not really a diagnosis, more of a guess. Really, probable means that it could have been anything. Oh well, when in doubt, just kill the horse. And that's just what they did. That's how they do it at the Rowell Ranch Rodeo. How does this kind of animal abuse keep making its way back onto the property of the Hayward Area Recreation and Parks District? The answer to that question brings us back to Russ Fields. Interesting fellow, Russ. In a 2018 lead-up story on ABC 7 News, Russ Fields made this insightful claim.
Do you deny that the animals feel fear?
No, I don't think they feel fear. They're
Really?
an animal.
So in Russ Fields' mind, such as it is, an animal in a rodeo feels no fear because he or she is just an animal. Never mind that animal behaviorists going back to Charles Darwin and earlier have written about fear in animals.
No, I don't think they feel fear. They're
Really?
an animal.
In present day, world-renowned animal behaviorist Mark Bekoff has written extensively about animal fear.
No, I don't think they feel fear. They're
Really?
an animal.
World-renowned animal behaviorist Temple Grandin said this about animal fear.
The single worst thing you can do to an animal emotionally is to make it feel afraid. Fear is so bad for animals, I think it's worse than pain.
So what do you do when you have overwhelming evidence of animal fear from the world's experts versus the baseless rant of a smug, flat earth throwback from the 17th century who claims animals can't feel fear? The answer is obvious. You put the flat earther in charge of the Rowell Ranch Rodeo. Oh, and one other thing I found to be very telling about Russ Fields. In March 2018, the Bay Area News Group quoted Russ Fields with this: "What goes on in rodeo, we've got nothing to hide." That's an interesting claim from a man who chairs a rodeo organization that doesn't allow video cameras. Nothing to hide, Russ? Then let's shark inside with our cameras. What are the chances? Well, I think you can expect the Rowell Ranch Rodeo to allow our cameras just about the same time as Russ Fields falls off the edge of his flat earth. While we're at it, let's throw a few other challenges over to the flat earthers at the Rowell Ranch Rodeo. Besides allowing video cameras, reinstate the ban on shocking animals to make them act wild. Sickos who shock animals to get their kicks belong in an asylum, not the Hayward Area Recreation and Parks District. Finally, and this is really important, any animal killed in the rodeo should receive a comprehensive and independent necropsy, which is an animal autopsy. Rodeo apologists have long claimed that rodeo animals are, quote, animal athletes, unquote. That's nonsense, of course. These victims are just trying to get out of the arena with their lives. But since the rodeo insists on calling them athletes, let's give them some measure of respect by not leaving the cause of their deaths to something probable from a veterinarian who doesn't even know how to spell euthanize. I'm not asking Russ Fields or his Rowell Rodeo Committee to acquire an education, just some semblance of common decency. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.